What up, Brusky? You good? What you playing on your Nintendo Switch?
Smash.
Smash Bros? I'll beat you. Alright, gang. Chad, does anybody have the Nintendo Switch? You're not even a Nintendo Switch type of nigga. Nah, me neither. I ain't gonna lie. But I heard it was like crazy though. I heard it was crazy, bro. Wale. Oh my God, that was somebody crazy. Hey, the whole chat knows him.
Wale.
Wale? What he do?
Rap.
Oh, word.
Lotus Flower Bomb or something?
Oh, shit.
That shit making me look crazy right now, just let you know.
What?
That's making me look crazy. The exchange that we had in the hallway, it's
Oh,
like,
my bad, bro.
they running with it, but we'll talk later.
All right, man. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the concept of the mainstream celebrity has been outdated, and it's clearly been dying for the past decade. Social media influencers used to be looked at as lesser than, people kind of look down on them, but now social media, the big players in social media, the streamers, they are the stars of the show. And you see that just over this past weekend. Now, I'm not a big fan of award shows. I think they're boring. I think outside of the rare occasions where somebody gets pimp slapped on the stage, or in other occasions where somebody's nipple pops out unintentionally, they're not that interesting to pay attention to, in my opinion. But you'll see clips that pop up that obviously catch all of our attention. One clip that caught all of our attention is apparently the BET Awards happened this weekend. Cenat and a bunch of other popular streamers were at the BET Awards. It made sense why they invited them, of course, because from a strategic standpoint, they're trying to stay on top of what's trending. I don't think this will actually work for them, because most of the people who are watching these streamers don't care about cable television, but that may be a story for another day. But apparently, Cenat, while he was streaming, he ran into Wale in the parking lot, or like a garage or whatever that was. He ran into him. They had like a brief exchange, said what's up. Kai's chat was trying to inform him that he just ran into Wale. He didn't know who Wale was. He said, "Who is Wale?" And when they brought up his name, I asked, "What does Wale do? Like, who is he?" Which caught a lot of people off guard. It caused Kai to see a lot of pushback, because many people felt like, hey, you're not really tapped in with music like that or whatever. Which, look, here's the thing. I don't remember Cenat ever really claiming to be a hip-hop streamer per se. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did say that at one point. But even though people kind of lump him into that sort of space by default because he's like a black guy who's streaming, that doesn't mean he's actually like really that much into music like that. To me, he's more of like a general sort of streamer who just so happens to have an audience that kind of crosses over into like the demographic of people who are hip hop fans. But I don't think it's that surprising that Kai isn't that familiar with Wale. Like, when Wale was at his peak as far as like on a mainstream level, when Wale was at his peak in the early to mid 2010s, Kai was he was in like elementary to like middle school, so I can kind of see how he could kind of miss that wave. But at the same time, it is a little shocking that he doesn't know, because according to Wale, they had met each other previously at like some celebrity sporting event. I think like it was like a celebrity basketball game, he said, or a celebrity football game or something like that. But to me, what I thought was more impressive, or what I thought was dope, was like the amount of his fans that were in his chat who did recognize Wale. Because in general, most of Cenat's fans are like, how old are most of them? Like somewhere in like that teenage sort of age range, right? So the fact that even they knew who Wale was, I thought that was dope. That just my opinion. I thought that was dope. It's dope to see people like not forget about the dope music that came out. I don't like when people obsess over the past and disrespect the present, but I also don't like when people obsess over the present and disrespect the past. We could like music from the past and the present. Wale, in my opinion, has an underrated discography. We all know he's had several hit songs. But a lot of people were coming at Kai. People were saying that he has a music stylist, which I don't know how true that is. Like I would have to look more into that. Like I didn't know that was a job. That's a that's a pretty interesting job, in my opinion. I would actually I think I would enjoy being somebody's music stylist. But either way, a lot of people were kind of mad at Wale because of Wale's reaction, because Wale had a very angry, not angry, but it was a I don't want to say passive aggressive, but it wasn't passive aggressive. He had an interesting reaction that people wasn't expecting, where he ran into Kai in the at the award show. He approached him. Now, based on the angle, I'm assuming Wale clearly didn't recognize that he was being streamed, because like he kind of pulled slightly pulled Kai to the side while Kai was talking to Snoop Dogg, and just basically whispered in his ear like, "Hey, that kind of made me look crazy, but it's all good. I'll talk to you about it later, whatever, whatever." And a lot of people think that Wale's being way too sensitive about it, which I mean, that's kind of an issue that Wale. Those are allegations that Wale is never gonna beat. He's been facing those sensitive allegations for the past like 15 years, because he's always had certain reactions that made people naturally think that he's overly sensitive to every little thing. It is what it is. At the same time, though, to me, I think the bigger part of this is the fact that one thing that's been obvious, but it continues to be more obvious, is that streamers, and people have pointed this out already, streamers are the new rappers. Essentially, you've seen people make skits about this. I'm sure many of you have probably seen the RDC skit, where they literally say the same thing. Streamers are the new rappers, as far as like how popular they are and how much influence they have, because now you have it to the point where so many rappers, whether it's Wale or whether it's anybody in between, so many of them are trying to go out of their way to get in the good graces of streamers and try to get on their streams, hoping that that cosign can keep them relevant or help them promote their project or whatever they got going on. And I don't think it helps them that much, but again, it's definitely fascinating to see that sort of dynamic shift, right? Because people for so long were used to rappers being in control of, not control, but having major influence over things like slang and things of that nature. But you think about some of the terms that have become popular in recent years, like Riz and all these things, uh, a lot of this is coming straight from streamers. So it's interesting seeing a lot of artists try to adapt to this new landscape. Like even artists who are lesser known, like people like me and many other underground artists, who, even though I would rather just make music all day, I do understand that it would be in my best interest to put different type of content out. That's why I put out so many podcast episodes, to try to, you know, find different ways to make other forms of content. And speaking of which, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Wale's response was unnecessary? Do you think that Kai was bugging for not knowing who Wale was? And if you could work as a music stylist, would you want that job?